What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life to Metal. It's time for another What's Spinning. This is a long overdue CD, What's Spinning, for my car. I haven't done anything in a while, and just thought I'd finally get one done. It's a kind of a cloudy day outside, overcast, and but it's not too cold. So it's actually 53 degrees Fahrenheit right now in Albuquerque. But anyhow, I'll get right into this. What I've been listening to, what's playing in the background. This is Skullfist, Canadian heavy metal band. New wave of traditional heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. This is Chasing the Dream. Killer, straightforward heavy metal. This track right here is a little more of a speed metal track. But you got songs like Call the Wild, which is a little more straightforward metal. Or a song like Bad for Good, which is the second song in the album, which has a little more of a commercial hook edge to it. Just a really solid heavy metal album from Skullfist, and I really like what these a lot of these new bands are doing. I know a lot of old school metal fans aren't really into these newer bands doing the old school style. They say they're copying the style, or they're not being original. But the way I see it is, we got a younger generation who has caught the metal bug and is keeping the metal tradition alive. Straightforward metal and thrash metal and speed metal and things like that, power metal, traditional heavy metal. They're keeping this style alive, and a lot of these bands are really good. Skullfist is one, Ram is another, Portrait, Striker, another Canadian band. There's so many great bands out there doing traditional heavy metal right now. And another band, while I'm speaking of that, this is Cyclone. This is a band It's a band from Spain, a mixed band in Spain together, that was given to me by Holspa Metal, or Renee from Spain. Awesome channel on YouTube if you haven't checked out Holspa Metal. And these guys are also doing a traditional style of heavy metal. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in so you can check this out. The lyrics are all in Spanish, so I can't pronounce a word of it. This song is called En Tu Celda, and the name of the album, Fiora de Control. This album was released in 2015. Really good stuff. Another band doing a traditional style heavy metal, done very, very well. Of course, the lyrics are a little foreign to my ears because I don't speak the language, but I still quite enjoyed this album, and I've been listening to it quite a bit in my car. Very good album from Cyclone. So thank you for that one, Renee. All right, this next one is Trouble, live in Los Angeles. This was the band's introduction of their new vocalist to the world. Of course, Eric Wagner had left and formed a band called The Skull, whose sound is very much like old school Trouble and is a very good band in itself. Trouble enlisted Corey Clark of Warrior Soul fame on vocals, and this was their introduction of him to the world. The track listing, which you can see right here, is mostly made up of songs from the 90s onward, their Def Jam years. Not a whole lot on here except for one instrumental, I believe. Yeah, End Time, which is off of the, I believe off the first Trouble album. Surprisingly, The Tempter, which is one of my favorite songs from Trouble, is not on here. Like I said, they mostly stuck to the Def Jam years, Plastic Green Head and self-titled album and stuff like that. But it's still a very good album. I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed it. It doesn't quite sound like Trouble without Eric Wagner on vocals, but it's still very well done. Of course, they got that classic guitar tone that there's an inner sleeve and some photos that Bruce Franklin just has that stellar guitar tone that you can just tell it's him. But yeah, the vocals just different, not bad, just different. If you're wanting to hear Eric Wagner doing Trouble, new Trouble stuff, you got to check out The Skull. But I'm gonna have to check out some more Trouble with Corey Clark. Honestly, I didn't give him much of a chance. This is my first introduction to him, and I quite liked it. I listened to this one several times. This next one I'll just show quickly. I've showed this one in my top 30 from 2016, but this is Testament, and Brotherhood of the Skull. I'm sorry, Brotherhood of the Snake. The Skull. Just got trouble on my head, obviously. Just great thrash metal, and I've been listening to this one quite a bit. I had this one on CD. Actually, I have 2 different CD versions. One was given to me as a gift, and I'm waiting on the vinyl version in the mail. It's just that good. I like it that much. So yeah, you gotta have both formats. So Trouble. See, I still got Trouble in the brain. Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. Fantastic thrash metal album from 2016. Another in a new wave of traditional metal. This is Cauldron. This is there you go. This is I'm trying to name the album. Can't remember it. Burning Fortune. And again, very much like Cyclone or Skull Fist, just straightforward heavy metal, and this one's definitely worth sticking in so you guys can hear it. Saxon on the radio. There's something I don't hear very often. Crusader, even, of all songs. Yeah, this is Cauldron. Cauldron are they're just straightforward heavy metal. You know, very Judas Priest / Iron Maiden, Dio, you know, influenced traditional metal. Their In Ruin album was one of my top albums in my top 30 for 2016 as well. Didn't have this album until just recently when a friend of mine, Blackmore Rules, Greg the Egg from YouTube, sent me this copy in the mail, and I'm really enjoying this one. Can't decide which album I like better. I just like them both. They're both very well done.
Turn me in or turn me loose. Crank it up inside the news. Lose it all for something more but life.
I think I like the vocals better on In Ruin, but I think the songwriting is really, really well done here. And I don't know, they're just both good. It's hard to pick one over the other. So, Cauldron, Burning Fortune. Let's see what we got next here in this pile of music. Speaking of traditional metal and Judas Priest influence, Judas Priest. Hellbent for Leather, one of my all-time favorite Priest albums. Just got into a Priest mood one day this week, and it just lifted my spirits. You know, I was having a rough day. I put this in the car on the way to work, and I was just jamming it. It just sounded great. You know, I could sing along to every song and never tire of this songs, even the ones that people consider corny. But songs like Rock Forever and Evening Star, you know, not necessarily fan favorites, but just great songs. Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather, Burn It Up, Killing Machine, Running Wild. There's just not a bad. Burn It Up is just awesome song. There's not a bad song on this one, in my opinion. Evil Fantasies. This is from what, 1978, I believe. Let's see if there's a year on here. I'm just guessing on the year, but I'm pretty sure 78 was the right year. And all it has is the re-release year, which is 2001. But anyhow, regardless, Hellbent for Leather, Judas Priest, classic album. Was released under a different title, Killing Machine, in the rest of the world, but in the United States it was called Hellbent for Leather. And this is just great stuff. Cauldron. A steering wheel can also be used as a guitar. Okay, one of my biggest disappointments of 2016 did not make my top 30. I shouldn't say it's disappointing because I didn't expect much. One of my favorite singers from one of my favorite bands, Steven Tyler, We're All Somebody from Somewhere. Nope, just can't get into this one at all. I tried. I picked this up cheap at Target and Target stores and thought, all right, there's got to be a couple songs on here at least that have some redeeming quality to them that I might enjoy, just because I'm such a fan of Aerosmith and Steven Tyler, but it's just schlock. It's an obvious attempt at pop, what they're calling country these days, which to me sounds nothing more than just pop. But it's all balladry, all schlocky, poppy, flowery garbage. I mean, you get songs like Red, White, and You, and I Make My Own Sunshine, Love Is Your Name. It's just not a good album. I mean, it's not my style. I'm sure that if you're into, you know, that pop country stuff, maybe you'll dig this. But for me, you know, I'm an Aerosmith fan. I love the 70s Aerosmith. I love all their catalog, even the more poppy stuff. But this album just didn't do it for me. There's also a cover of Janie's Got a Gun on here, which is, of course, an Aerosmith song, and he does a slower, a little darker version of that. I think the title track is a decent song, and probably one of the better ones on here. Red, White, and You is just horrible. Love Is Your Name, yeah, just, I don't know. You know, I bought this actually a few months ago, I think, when it first came out, because it was on sale like $8. I took it home, played it in my car, listened to it on the way to work, listened to it on the way home from work. Man, I just couldn't get into it, so I kind of threw it off to the side. And then in the last week, and I decided I was going to do this video, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give that album another spin. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it at the time. Nah, gave it another spin all the way through in my car, and even took it into work and listened to it with a friend at work, and neither one of us were really into it. So, yeah, Steven Tyler, 2016 solo album, We're All Somebody from Somewhere. Miss you to death. Still jamming the Cauldron here. Okay, last two. This is an older album too. This is one of the bands that sustained me through the 90s when heavy metal was considered a dirty word. Overkill continued to release great albums, and From the Underground and Below is one of my all-time favorites from them, even still. I mean, I love their whole catalog. They really haven't released an album that I don't like, but if I was to put together a top 5, From the Underground and Below would definitely be in that top 5. It's just that good, that solid, and a lot of these songs stayed in their set list for years and years and years. It Lives, Rip and Tear, a little bit of Murder, Save Me. There's just some great stuff on here. Always like the cover too, that kind of graveyard tombstone version. My copy happens to be signed by the whole band, which is cool. Inner version, but yeah, Overkill. Everybody knows who Overkill is. Great thrash band. They had a bit of groove going on here too. They, you know, it was the 90s, had a bit more of a groove sound, but it was still sounded like Overkill. It wasn't like them going grunge or something. You know, it was just metal, and just a great album from them. Overkill. Last one I'm going to show is the new Metallica, and this is the 3-disc version that was also sent to me in the mail, and I have listened to this one quite a bit. It did not make my top 30 for 2016. I do think it's a good album from them. I don't think it's a great album from them. It has, frankly, I think it just has a few, getting warm in here. Frankly, I think it just has some filler that it's just fluff, boring. It doesn't have a whole lot to it. Disc 1, the first 2 songs, Hardwired and Atlas Arise, are both great. I thought Moth Into the Flame was great as well. And Now That We're Dead is a decent song as well. So that's basically the first 4 songs. Then you have Dream No More and Halo of Fire, which they're okay. Could have chopped those off. Grabbed Confusion, Murder One, and Spit Out the Bone from disc 2. Put them all on one disc, and it would have been a stellar album. I love Confusion. I love Spit Out the Bone, and I like the idea behind Murder One, which is basically a tribute to Lemmy. But Spit Out the Bone is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. It's just really heavy, fast, has that kind of old school vibe to it. I'll probably get a copyright strike for playing this one in the background, but what the heck. Let's stick in some Metallica. Yeah, it's not a bad album. I'm not really too hip on the cover. It's kind of an interesting idea. It's all right. This is Spit Out the Bone. I think the production isn't bad. It's very clean. It would have been nice if they had a little dirtier, heavier production, you know, and the guitar tones. This sounds very made for radio kind of sound to me, but definitely better than Saint Anger. And it's amazing you can actually hear the bass guitar in this song. Anyhow, very good song from a decent album from Metallica. Like I said, I could pick out a good 6-7 songs I think are very, very good. And if they would have just had those songs and maybe one more, this album would have been like, it would have made my top 30. But I just feel that like Man Unforgiven, Dream No More, Halo of Fire, Here Comes Revenge, Am I Savage? Those songs just didn't do much for me. And maybe over time they'll grow on me, but as of right now, it's a good album, but not my favorite from them. Definitely the best they've done in a while. I think it's better than anything they've done since maybe the Black Album. But anyhow, let's see. That's it. that's it. That's pretty much what I've been spinning. Yeah, has been other things. I mean, I haven't done one of these in a few months, but that's a lot of what I've been spinning over and over again in my car. So hope you enjoyed this edition of What's Spinning. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.